Yeah, hello everyone and welcome back. So today we are going to discuss about @value annotation in a Spring framework. So @value annotation is used to inject the values of a field in a Spring Bean. So let's say that you want to inject some like field value to a particular field of a Spring Bean, then you can use this @value annotation. Or let's say that you want to set a default value to a particular property of a Spring Bean, then also you can use @value. And let's say that you want to fetch some like value of that particular field from the property file, from the environment variable, from the system variables, then you can use @value annotation. So basically in the live project we mostly use @value annotation to set the value of a property of a Spring Bean through the property file. So mostly we set the values, or we means set the key and the value pair into the properties file, and we want that value from that particular key which is defined in the property file set to the property of a Spring Bean. Then you can use @value, right? So this annotation can be applied to the field of a class, to a method, and to the constructor parameter, and it allow you to inject the values from the various sources like the property file, like the environment variables, from the system variables, and from the other Spring Beans also. Okay, so let's move to the project and directly see how we can use this @value annotation to your project to fetch the value from the property file and from the system variables and from the environment variables. Okay, so already we have one project, so let me directly create one package for you, value with the value name, and inside this value package I will create one Java class, let's say with the demo value annotation. So this is the Java class which I have just created, and I want to mark this with component annotation so that I want that Spring IOC container should handle the creation of this bean. Alright, so let me create one field to this Java class, and let's say a name of this field as employee. Okay, now I want to set some default value to this employee field. So to set a default value we can use @value annotation. So just you have to mark @value annotation in the above of this field, and then you can give a default value, anything. You can give your name or anything to this, then it will set this string to this employee field. All right, so yeah, so you have to use @value, and then you have to provide the name or the string in the parameter of this value annotation. So this default value will set for this employee field. Now let's create the getter method to access this field. Okay, so we are going to access this the field value, the employee field value inside our main class. Okay, so in this already we have some code, let me comment it out. And we have a context, right? So context contain the bean of the every component classes which the IOC controller has. So let me use the context to, and here we have a get bean method which will provide the bean of this particular class. So let me put the name of this class, and here uh, let me create a demo value annotation with the reference variable as a demo value annotation. So basically this demo value annotation contained the instance of this bean demo value annotation class. All right, so with this demo value annotation we have a getter method get employee. So get employee method will fetch the value for that employee field from this class. All right, so let's run this and let's check the output. Okay, so first of all I need to provide the system.out.println to check this. So just I'm adding system.out.println, and then I will run this class and let's check the output. So this is we'll call the getter method, and the getter method will return the employee, and the employee, yeah, so here you can see that we are able to print out Ashish Bhagat. It means that it means the name. It means the for the employee field, the default value is set with the Ashish Bhagat. Yeah. So if you want to set any default value to any particular field, then you can use @value, and then you can pass as a string the default value, right? Now let's check how we can access or fetch the values from the property file. So basically in Spring Boot, we know that inside resource folder we have a application.properties file, and this application.properties file will be accessed by the Spring container automatically. So you not need to define anything path or anything extra to fetch this file. Okay, so like container will automatically fetch the values from this file, right? So only, okay, so let's say that I want to define some key and the value for this. Let's say URL, let's say I'm defining some db dot URL. All right, and in this let's give some name uh, to this class, means to this field. Let's say JDBC admin and port number 8080. Yeah, so this is the one key db.url, and this is the value. So similar manner, let me create one more username. Let's give the username as with some value. Similar manner, one more property I will create with the key db.password equals to and the value password. All right, so this content you can see. So yeah, so in the property file, this is the key db.url, db.username, db.password, and the value are this. Now I want to fetch the key value of this to my Java Bean class. So how to do this? Let's see this. So let me define one like variable. Let's say db_url. All right, and if you want to access, then you can use the value annotation, and in the double quote, and then a dollar sign, and then curly braces you have to open, and inside the curly braces you have to put the key. So let me copy this key from here to the property file to my bean class, and then yeah, so this annotation @value db.url will fetch the value of this key from the property file application.property file. All right, and then it will store to this field db_url, right? So similar manner, let me fetch the others value also, db username. So in the similar manner, to get the value from the property file for this db username field, you can assign it that value, and then you have to put double quotation, and then dollar, and then curly bracket you have to open and close, and inside this you need to put the key for which you want to fetch. So just add this. In this way you will fetch the username and it will get stored to this field. So in the similar manner, let me use db password. So let me copy and paste this annotation, and only now you need to change the key for which you want to fetch. Yeah, and now you can save it, right? So here are the three fields: db username, db url, db password. So these fields, I am setting the value to this field by fetching the value from the application.property file by using @value annotation, and yeah, and like this is the syntax to fetch. Now let me create the getter method so that I can access the values to the other bean classes. Yeah, so these are the getter method of these three fields. Let's go to the main class. In here we are already put it some SOP. Let me use this to first, yeah, so getter method get db url will fetch the URL. Okay, get db username will fetch the username. Get password method will fetch the password and then it will display here. Okay, so let me run and check the output, and here we are using SOP to print all these values in our main class. So basically it should fetch the value and display in the console. And here you can see in the bean we are already defined this, right? So yeah, so here you can see that first it fetch the db URL. So db URL is this value which we have defined in application.properties file, right? And then it fetch the username ASIS and then the password as a password value, right? Yeah, so in this way you have seen how we can fetch any like key value from the property file to your Spring Bean class. All right. Yeah, so this is the process, and this you have to use at their value. Now we can also fetch the value of the system variable and the environment variable into your Spring Bean class. So for that also similarly we can use at the red value annotation. So let's see this. So let me create one more field, environment, let's say something with the name environment variable. All right, so similar manner you have to use at the red value annotation, and then in this you have to provide the name for which you want to pass. So double quotation, dollar, curly bracket open close, and inside this you need to put the environment variable key which you have already stored in the environment variable. So in my system I have java dot home. All right, so this should fetch the environment variable value of key java.home, and it should store to this field environment variable, right? So let me show you to fetch from the system variable. Let's say system variable, and similar manner you have to use at the red value notation, and then double quote, and then dollar, and then curly braces open close, and then here you need to define the key. Okay, so in my system I have user dot home. All right, and now you need to create the getter method for these two fields, for the environment and for the system. So select this. Okay, so I have created the getter method. So let me go to the main class, and similar manner let me put SOP and get the environment variable and also get the system variable, right? And now let's see what we will get the output. So let me start my main class. Yeah, so it is taking some time to restart, but yeah, but you can see the output. So you have to see the last two outputs. Okay, get environment variable and system variable. Yeah, output is rendering. Now you will see, yeah, now you can see I am getting the environment variable as C program files Java and JDK 17. So in this, like my in this path my like Java is installed. Okay, I'm using Java 17, and you can see that system variable user.home, it contained the C drive, and AS Bhagat is my name of the system, right? Yeah, so like in this manner you have seen how we can fetch the values from the different sources to your Spring Bean class by using @value annotation. Thank you.